Forrest Valkai's 10 questions that atheists can't answer, easily answered, was so fun to watch. Here in a second, I'm going to address the main problem in the middle of the video that he had, but I want to talk about the intro first. One of the first things that he does is state something that is actually against every atheist, their supposed belief system. So look through the comments of my videos. One of the things that atheists will always tell you is atheism is not a belief system. It is not a belief system. All of us are unique, and we don't all believe exactly the same things. And I have made the case countless times that if you don't believe in God, then you have a default belief system that you were thrown to. Well, at the very beginning, he is stating, he's like, if you think these questions are really hard for atheists to answer, then you need to talk to an atheist. In fact, you need to get some popcorn, settle in, and get ready to learn what atheists truly believe, or maybe what they don't believe, I suppose. Now, if it was truly against the grain for an atheist to have beliefs in common with other atheists, like is so often the case when they get nailed on a certain situation, and I don't doubt there's a little bit of divergence in the field, but if it was so anathema to them that they just were repulsed by it every time, why would he even hint at that? Like, hang on for what atheists really believe. But that's all an aside. In this video, when it comes to question, I think it's question number 4, like how the universe began, he's like, oh man. And he goes off the rails, baby. He is so excited because he's talking about his field in science. You know, he's a biologist, and so he should have this area mastered. And so he's like, oh, how did life begin? Well, you know, you've got, and I don't remember if he explained the very first part, okay? But he's talked about, like, everybody, you know, goes back to the singularity, the Big Bang, and then stars and planets being flung out into the universe, and there's this hot period of time, I think he said the Hadean period, where there's all these rocks and everything that are bombarding the planet of the Earth, and like it was just such a chaotic time. And then all of a sudden you go through the cooling period, and then he's like, there's this sliver of time, this 200 million years, where life just spontaneously burst into existence. And he tries to make, he said 200 million years is a sliver of time in geological time. No, not even in geological time is 200 million years a sliver of time. 200 million years is a very, very long period of time. But he's like, but his point was life was very easy to pop up during this period of time. Really, hang on to that point. So then he gets to talking, and he begins to talk about a few other things. But he now has made the point that it is easy for life to have sprung up, because you've got to give evolution a chance if you want to be an atheist, because it is the best explanation, right, other than God creating. And so he's like, well, this is easy. And if he is a biologist and is leading atheist to saying this easy, some people will just buy it. But then, as he is speaking further into his line of thoughts, he realizes that he said it's really easy. And he goes, this is probably going to lead some of you to think, why don't we see life just springing into action today? So there is a parallel there. There's a corollary. If it was easy to pop up then, it should really be easy now. And he's like, well, the reason it's not is because of this. And he's trying to explain a scenario, but if you will leave off the last portion of the scenario, he tells you about the conditions. And so here was the scenario. He's like, you need a nutrient-dense area with prime living conditions, even for the most basic living forms, or the basic, life forms. A nutrient-dense area with prime living conditions. And he got really excited as he's talking about that, because, again, I don't know if I'm mimicking it properly, but he did something, I would even call it worshipful, like about prime living conditions for this life to pop up. So it's like, if life did pop up today, we would never even notice, because it's, it's very, 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 very small. And if it popped up, it would have to be in the nutrient-dense prime living condition area that would be so prime living condition that bacteria around it could live on it really easy, and the bacteria would eat up everything in that quadrant, in that area, and we would never even know that new life was there. I see a problem. Do you see the problem? So if life was able to just easily pop up, surely it's just popping up everywhere all the time, and surely not all the bacteria out there can just eat it up. Or was the early stages of evolution, was there really a place on planet Earth that was nutrient dense and had prime living conditions? Both cannot be true. And actually, I believe that Valkai knew this because of his, as this was pouring out of his mouth, he realized that he had given away too much information. And so he was like, but that's an aside. Let's get back to what we were talking about. Body language tells you a lot if you're willing to pay attention. So I want to any of you moderate atheist or doubters, etc., I want you to know that the top atheist out there, the biologist out there, know that life is really impossible outside of precise scenarios, and precise scenarios are not accidentally easy to come by. It's just mathematically totally improbable, which means just impossible. So these guys are not really atheist in the sense that they just don't believe there's a God. They are actually anti-Godders who hate God and want to turn as many people away as possible. And if it takes spreading some misinformation, that's okay. But you can figure out who these people are by their double talk.